In today's Law and Politics,
back home where I come from, we have common sense, we have nonsense, and now we have gun sense. And that's what we're talking about.
that was Senator Joe Manchin touting a bipartisan agreement to expand background checks for firearm purchases. Joining the West Virginia Democrat in making the announcement was Pennsylvania Republican Pat Toomey.
If expanding background checks to include gun shows and internet sales can reduce the likelihood of criminals and mentally ill people from getting guns, and we can do it in a fashion that does not infringe on the Second Amendment rights of law-abiding citizens, then we should do it. And in this amendment, I think we do.
Manchin says it would exempt gun sales of a non-commercial nature, whether between family members or other private parties.
If you go to a gun show, you'll be treated the same as if you went to a gun store, subjected to a background check. And then if you go online, you'll be subjected the same as you are if you buy a gun online in another state. Personal transfers are not touched whatsoever.
Assessing the significance of this development, Aaron Zittner is news editor for the Wall Street Journal.
This is an important development. You could even call it a breakthrough. Without this, the advocates of gun control would be heading into this much-awaited debate with very little hope of getting anything important through.
Toomey reassured gun owners that they have nothing to fear from this legislation.
Nothing in our amendment prevents the ownership of guns by any lawful person, and I wouldn't support it if it did. In a 10-year period, 1.8 million gun sales were blocked by the current background check system. The worries that we hear sometimes about background checks leading to an erosion of our Second Amendment rights, it simply hasn't happened.
Be that as it may, Kevin Vick is a federally licensed gun dealer who says criminals don't have all that much to fear from this either.
Both sides are very much in favor of reducing gun crime, and this particular bill doesn't do that. It just gives political cover. 70% of guns used in crime are either through straw purchases or through theft. None of them go through gun shows. None of them go through internet sales. So it'll have no impact there whatsoever.
And as to all those gun sales reportedly blocked by background checks?
Yeah, the 1.8 million, a misleading number. Those are people who may get an initial delay. The vast majority of those, once they get further reviewed, do end up going through. And that's not to say that they don't net some people who shouldn't be allowed to own firearms, but it's a very, very small percentage.
Of all the reforms that have been discussed, expanded background checks may be the only thing that actually becomes law. As the gun debate begins in the U.S. Senate, the most that will happen may not be very much at all. For today's Law and Politics, I'm Ken McNeil. Thanks for listening. You want to build your law practice. We want to help. At 5 Aces Media, we show attorneys how to exploit the incredible potential of radio. Enhance your firm's reputation and build name recognition while telling the people who need your services exactly what you do. If you're hearing this, then so is your next client. Visit our website at 5aces.us. For an unfair advantage in building your law practice, nobody can beat 5 Aces. That web address again is the number 5, aces.us.